Hi everybody, I'm Stacie Koroly with the Stacie Koroly team, and with me today is Patti Brennan of Key Financial.
Thank you.
Patti, thank you. I am geeking out right now because I have been waiting for months to do this interview, and I just want to thank you for your time right now.
Absolutely. This is my pleasure. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk with you.
Great. So some of Patti's background or accolades, I could go on for 5 minutes, but we're just going to do some of the top ones. So Forbes magazine has given Patti Brennan and Key Financial, they've ranked them 250 in 2018, best wealth advisors. Also in 2018, top 100 women wealth advisors, which we'll talk about real quickly because there's not many.
Right, exactly.
So top 100 women wealth advisors of 2018. Now 2019, is Patti slacking? No, she's not slacking because she's ranked by, I want to make sure I get this right.
I guess there's Barron's.
Barron's, that's it.
Yeah,
So
sure.
best in state, ranked number 3 in the state of Pennsylvania for 2019. So with that said, Patti, could you please tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what made you choose wealth advising?
Thank you, Stacie. So let me first tell you that when it comes to these lists, sometimes even I have to pinch myself because, you know, I'm Patti Brennan from Westchester, Pennsylvania, right? It's, you know, what you see is what you get. We're not, you know, it's not like I work for a major company or what have you. I'm an independent advisor, and I just do things the way I feel like they need to be done. It's just, you know, a standard that I've set for myself, and if Forbes and Barron's, etc., you think it's the way it should be done, I think it's important for everybody listening that that's the purpose of that, is to really, for people and for them to identify what is it, what are the best practices in the country. You know, being ranked 3rd in the state is just like pretty incredible because you've got all of the companies in Philadelphia, all of the companies in Pittsburgh. You know, even on a nationwide basis, there's 350,000 people like me.
Oh my gosh.
Right? So to whittle it down and whittle it down and whittle it down and say, who are the top 100 in the whole country? It's kind of, like I said, I kind of have to pinch myself. What do we do, or how did it happen? Again, it's just doing things the way I believe that they should be done.
And you've been doing this for almost 30 years.
Absolutely. So it's again, as with anything, it's been an evolving process. And what I've learned is that by building such a deep bench, Stacie, I don't do all of the work, right? I mean, you set the standards, et cetera, and you get really good people who are devoted to their area of expertise, and you get the best people in, you know, financial planning, right? Get the best people in portfolio management. You know, so it's just really, and together we create what I think is a really important and good client experience.
What I was told for years was you really shouldn't talk to a financial advisor until you have money. So what would you say to people, for people just starting out, when should they start out and what kind of game plan should they have? And that's what you took me and my husband Joe through a little ways back, and we are still working on it, but it was simple, but yet it was structured. It was great.
You know, thank you for that. I think that one thing that I will tell you is that I don't measure people by how much money they have. To me, if somebody really wants some help, if they take the step of calling a financial advisor, a planner, I am definitely going to meet with those people, because you know what, it takes a lot of courage to be able to say, hey, I don't really know that I know everything. I don't know if we're doing everything that we should be doing, and I'd like to get some professional help. So when people call in, we meet with everybody. It doesn't necessarily mean that everybody needs our help in a formal way. What I like to do is I'd like to say, hey, Stacie, Joe, you've got some low-hanging fruit.
Yep.
Right?
That's right. I remember that.
Right.
Yes.
You got some low-hanging fruit. My suggestion, after the time, we spent a lot of time together, why don't you do A, B, C, and D? Do these things first, and then come back. Let me know how you're doing. We're not going to go anywhere. We're here to provide a service and help you. And right now, I would much rather you keep your own money and then see how you progress, et cetera. So it's more about, you know, helping as many people as possible, irrespective of how much money that they have. You are not your money, Your money is a means to an end. Let's figure out what you want to accomplish, and then figure out the steps that you can get there as quickly as possible.
I love that. And I felt like, now obviously we are not multimillionaires, Joe and I, yet, haha. But I felt like you treated us just like you would everybody, and it didn't matter. And that's what I loved. I was like, wow, I felt special. And you outlined a plan off the top of your head. We were writing notes feverishly. I did get life insurance. I have some other things to set up. But I just love the fact that you were real. We had a question for you about buying an investment property. I did not get the answer that I wanted. However, as I left today, I said to my husband, what do you want me to ask Patti? And he said, I don't want you to ask her anything. I want you to thank her because we didn't buy that property, and it was a good thing that we didn't. So, and looking at your website, you don't tell people what they want to hear, which is important, because a lot of times people will tell you. In my industry, a lot of people will tell you what you want to hear, and you make a point of putting that in as not one of your values, but here's what we're going to bring to the table for you.
Sure. And thank you for saying that. It makes me feel so good that sometimes, you know, I would love people to do everything that they want to do, and yet I think part of the trust that develops and the trust and the rapport that develops over time is that I will give it to you real. And, you know, not now doesn't mean not ever.
Right.
It just means not now. There's always a solution for every situation. Let's figure out the best thing for you guys right now. And that really wasn't going to be it.
You were right. I
Well,
have to admit.
Thank you so much. And I think that also, I often go back to, you know, my background. It's kind of like a doctor. You know, no physician wants to tell their patient that they have cancer. No physician wants to tell their patient that their prescription is going to, for chemotherapy, is going to make them lose their hair and throw up. Nobody wants to have to tell somebody, but if that's the only thing that they know that's going to cure that patient, you're going to do what is right for that person to save their life.
Right.
And I look at it the same way, to really figure out the best way to help you and make sure that, and I don't know how to say this, to a certain extent, a good advisor, whether it's me or anybody else, a good advisor is going to save people from themselves. You know, is to really kind of, and it's not necessarily based on, you know, sometimes it's correct, but to just really make a good exercise, good judgment that is in the best interest of the person that we're talking with.
And again, I think that's why you are ranked as high as you are in the country, because of the service that you provide. When you started out in the industry 30 years ago, obviously things were different, and in my industry you printed up a house, it was in black and white, or you went to an office to find out what listings they had. Times have changed. I feel like every year it's becoming much more different, and real estate offices or real estate companies are trying to become tech companies, and tech companies are trying to become real estate companies. How has it changed for you, and then how is Key Financial staying ahead of the game?
It's such a great question. And boy, I feel your pain from 30 years ago,
Yes.
right? So it used to be literally when a client was coming in, we had to make phone calls to all the different companies to find out what everything was worth, right? And then put together a statement and type it all up in our old typewriters and that kind of stuff. So actually, I'm really dating myself, but so be it. Now, because of the tools that we have available to us, we are pulling all the data in and all the information, no matter where it's held. A client's 401k is going to their own private website that we've set up. We have all of their assets, we have all of their insurance, every financial asset is coming into one dashboard, and then that populates the financial plan. That populates the analysis. We're running various scenarios. What if you continue working till you're 60 years old? Will you be okay? Do you have to work till you're 62? What if you made a different Social Security decision? What if the rate of return that you're getting on your investments isn't quite as high as it has been certainly in the last 10 years? Are you still going to be okay? How much risk can you actually tolerate? What's your risk capacity? If something happens to one spouse, What does that mean for the surviving spouse? Is that really going to, are they going to have to sell their home? Are they going to, so it really goes into all of those questions. Do you need trusts in your wills? What do you want for your children? Do you know, again, depending on the ages of the kids, et cetera, what do you want for them as well? And to lay it out in a website that runs it that you can see 24/7 from wherever you are. That is really cool. You can see all of the investment portfolio, what they're doing, your rate of return, literally populating this financial plan. You know, I often tell people, Stacie, that when you look at your financial affairs, in our day, and when we first, it was more like, it used to be like looking at a map, right? Now it's like having GPS. If you've got the technology, which I will tell you, I invest in two things. I invest in people and technology. You are absolutely right. We have literally the state-of-the-art technology that clients have access to as well. Full transparency. This is your money. Here it is. Let me make it really easy for you to understand not only what you have, but how it's organized, and have it all in one place. So if God forbid something happens to one or the other spouse, or at the second death, the kids have it all in one place. They already know there's no surprises.
I love it, and with the dashboard, see, I get intimidated, and I think most people do. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
When you look at the dashboard, it is amazing, and you see the pie chart, and it's. I'm not going to say it is relaxing, but you do get, there's peace of mind that you get, that you, instead of getting a bank statement where you see something in black and white and it's from like one of the big companies, you don't even know how to read it or understand it. With your dashboard, it's great. It's a breath of fresh air.
It is. Again, it's all about making it easy to understand. You know, I try to speak in terms that people can relate to so that they can understand and act upon any recommendations with confidence. You know, it's just so important. I think that, you know, with the technology, et cetera, it also allows us to really see things and let them bubble up, you know, because it's hard to keep track of all this stuff, right? But when you see it all together, you can say, oh boy, you know, I'm not so sure that this is a good idea, and allows us to be able to do that as well. So it's just, again, it's all about outcomes. We want the outcomes. We want to make sure that if we continue to do what we're doing, the client, again, it's completely collaborative. As I said, it's really your money. We want it so that you're hitting the easy button. You go to one site, it's your website, it is completely secure, and it's all right there laid out.
I love it. I love it. On just shifting gears a little bit, personally, do you have a morning routine? Do you wake up at a certain hour? Do you exercise or meditate?
That's a great question. So I'm going to give you a secret. I don't know that I've ever told anybody this before,
all right,
but since you've asked. So when I wake up in the morning, I do the typical, I read 4 newspapers, yada, yada, yada.
The typical 4 newspapers.
Exactly, the typical, well, I mean, you know, literally on my island. So, and it's important for me, I get some kind of exercise. I have a bike and, you know, treadmill at home. I don't commute anywhere. I've got to get it done. Fast, 30 minutes, I'm done, I'm ready to hit the ground. The way my day is organized, Stacie, is I eat my frog in the morning. What does that mean?
Yep.
So Mark Twain once said, if you eat your frog in the morning, the rest of the day is going to be amazing by comparison. So as the CEO of this firm, there are certain things that only I can do, okay? There's those 6 or 8 things. It might be emails, it might be phone calls, etc. Once I get in here, I've got a line of people at my door. I've got meetings all day, etc., and the day kind of gets away from me. What I've learned over the many years is that if I do those few things first and get them done, it elevates the entire company, because I'm doing what I'm here to do, okay? My goal, my role here as the CEO of the firm is a couple of things. First of all, it's to take care of clients. I am the advisor. I'm that person that people are meeting with. So that's number one. Number two, it's to take care of my employees. It is so important because my employees, if I take care, I don't know if I've said this to you before, but when I hire somebody and once they've kind of proven themselves over time, my job is to make sure that this is the last job they ever have.
Well,
to create an environment where they are growing, not just financially, not just professionally, but personally as well, where they feel like, wow, this has really got the career track where they have a real career path, a real future, and they've got skin in the game. These people don't work for me. I work for them. It is so important that they are happy and feeling like they're growing, et cetera, because it's amazing what they will do for our clients. So, take care of our clients, take care of my employees, and then take care of the business. Because this is a business that's going to be here for the next 50 years. What happens when I'm no longer here? To do that, I've got to develop the people that are here that are really doing the day-to-day work so that, again, they are growing their knowledge, their understanding, they're developing the relationships. Because, again, I feel it's a responsibility to all of our clients. It's a stewardship because they know they can count on me for everything. I want them to know that we've got incredible depth and that they can count on all of us.
So in addition to the technology, it's also the support system. So you taking care of your clients, you taking care of the employees, and when you do that, they flourish.
Yep.
So it's not just one thing, because someone can do technology. You have E-Trade, I'm not even comparing that, but you have things that you can just go online for, and it's not the same thing.
Right.
And you've been in Westchester for nearly 30 years. You've grown your company from 1 to,
I will tell you that I started in this company in what most people call their laundry room.
Okay.
You go in the garage, you go right, there's the washer and dryer, and then you go into the kitchen. So when I started Key Financial, we moved the washer and dryer down to the basement, and I sat at the desk.
I love it.
Isn't that, because you know what, we all started small. I had little kids, I have 4 children. So how could I do what I believe was the right thing to do and still be able to look myself in the mirror to be a mom and to be a wife and to be wear all the different hats. The laundry room, I hired a part-time person, became a full-time person, became another person. We didn't fit in the laundry room, we went to the basement, right?
Oh
so
my
we had the basement. Then that basement got too small because by that time I was 6 people. We moved to another basement because, again, I had the kids, I had this, and literally in the mornings I'd wake up, go down to the basement, figure out what needed to be done, get the kids on the bus, go back down to the basement, and I would do the work, there with the team, and then I had a separate office where I would actually meet with clients. So
Okay.
clients didn't come to the house; they never came to the house. I always had house. They always went to a separate separate location, and then that just has evolved. And, we went from, very small to, we now have $1 billion that we are responsible for.
And it is extremely impressive. I love that you stayed local. And just outside of the work, what are you passionate about, or what drives you?
Yeah, it's funny because, earlier in my career, maybe yours, there was no life, right?
Right.
I mean,
sometimes I still feel like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So we had the 4 kids, and then I had my business. Ed and I had no social life. we weren't involved in, community affairs, et cetera. As we've evolved, et cetera, it's allowed me to learn more and get more involved in things that I'm passionate about. I am so excited about what's happening with Chester County Hospital. I was asked to be on the board many years ago, and as we were kind of going through the different things as an independent hospital, Mike Duncan kind of talked about where the hospital stood, et cetera, and believed that it was important for us to merge with another hospital. So they picked 3 people out of the community. Sidebar. So we were sitting at this big conference table with all of these board members, and we were, Mike was talking about this. And Stacie, I don't know what came over me, but I said, Mike, I think this is fine. I understand the ramifications, the way insurance reimbursements are going, and et cetera. And that we need, and if we're going to be an ongoing entity, we needed to figure this out and to create, with volume does come some benefits. And I said, but whoever you end up choosing, we have to remember that we are neighbors taking care of neighbors. We are a community hospital, that the spirit and the culture of this hospital never gets lost. The next day I got a phone call. How would you like to be on the panel?
Oh my gosh.
To be going through the merger and acquisition and to figure out who this eventual partner would be. They chose 3 people in the community, and then they had, senior management as well as outside people. And it was, what a privilege that was to be that steward of healthcare for our entire community, to really look out for the people of Chester County and say, look, we have to remember who we are and get the right partner that's going to allow this hospital to transform into a healthcare system.
That's exactly what it's doing now. It's unbelievable.
It is really, I am so excited about it, Stacie. Wait till you guys see, and I'm looking at everybody, wait till you see what this hospital is able to deliver in terms of, you talk about technology, you talk about ORs, the cath lab, the forward-looking equipment and supplies and everything that we currently and will have access to. It's really good to have that stuff, but even more, I'll tell you something that a lot of people watching this may not realize. You know what it's doing? It is attracting the best and brightest minds in medicine, because guess what? They can live in Chester County, raise their family in this incredible community, and they don't have to go to Philadelphia or New York or Massachusetts. They can work out of this incredible new healthcare system located right here and have the state-of-the-art equipment in whatever it is that might be their specialty.
What is the projected time for completion, or 90% complete?
It'll probably be done at the end of 2019.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's sooner. They're moving fast now. So it's going in phases. One of the later phases is the ER. The ER is going to also be transformed. Mike Duncan is a military guy. He went to Annapolis. He's amazing. He's brilliant. I wish I had 25% of his brains. He's really smart. And so what they're going to be doing with the ER is they're going to be transforming it in terms of people are going to be seen within 90 seconds. They're going to be triaged if it's high. So he's got it down to a science. And what they're doing is they're creating the environment to allow that to happen. So it's going to be, it is literally going to be the new standard for not only, Chester County and Philadelphia. It's going to be the standard on a nationwide basis. This is going to be what everybody is going to rise to.
Wow.
And we're going to have it right here. Isn't that cool?
It's beyond. I'm speechless. Like, I can't believe that I didn't know when it started or what the projection was, but just to know that you were part of that is really cool, and I can understand why you're saying it's an honor. But to bring that to Chester County and Westchester is incredible.
And I will also tell you, in that process, it was amazing how many hospitals and healthcare systems, again, on a nationwide basis, came in. And we used a merger and acquisition firm out of Chicago. And they would come in and do these half-day dog and pony shows to try and kind of talk about their systems and why Chester County should choose them over other systems. And when Penn came in, it was just really clear that they were sincere. They had done their legwork. They basically identified the reasons why they wanted to, merge with, basically, it was a merger, kind of it was an acquisition, but it was more of a merger of like-minded entities, which is, it's an independent, et cetera. Mike's still running it the way he would run it, et cetera. But now we have the power of University of Pennsylvania and their ability to increase reimbursements, their technology, and their etc. But what's really cool about that a lot of people don't know is that in this process, they made an offer and made a commitment to put in hundreds of millions of dollars. And part of a sidebar, I'm on another committee that basically, and they would do this over a period of 5 years, and another committee was selected to make sure that they fulfilled that promise. Don't quote me on this, but I think they are more than double. They've put more than double of the hundreds of millions of dollars that they committed.
Originally promised.
Into Chester
Wow.
County. Because they see what an incredible, like, it's one thing to go through that process, it's another thing to now be part of it, and they just keep on coming in and say, this is better and better. You guys are even better than we thought.
That's amazing, because once University of Penn steps up and does that, now everybody else is looking at them and saying, wow, what are we missing? We need to be a part of this.
Right, exactly. And the people, the physicians, the people who, you know, prior to this may not have wanted to be working in this community hospital located in Chester County. Now everybody's, you know, how can I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I'd like to get in this new OR suite because, wow, I don't have access to this. So it's pretty, you know, it's one of those things. You build it and they will come.
And it just feels like success begets success.
And really, you and I are going to be the beneficiaries. Everybody who's watching this, we are going to be the beneficiaries of this, which fulfills my commitment and my promise when I entered into that to say, I want to look out for you and everybody in our community. That was my role. And you asked me what keeps me passionate. That's what I felt passionate about.
I wasn't expecting that response, and I just want to thank you for your time. The last thing I would ask is if you could recommend a book or a piece of advice to our audience, what would it be? I think that the piece of advice would be for everybody to get an understanding of their financial affairs. You know, it's okay to live your life and raise your family and kind of push this off to the side. And that's perfectly fine until it's not. The earlier you kind of get your arms around this stuff, to sit down with another person, whether it be a financial planner or an advisor, what have you, just get an extra set of trained eyes. It's a free consultation. You have nothing to lose. And again, I can only speak for myself. My job is really to kind of give you some feedback on what you're doing already. Again, tweak here and there. Go off and do those things. Because the sooner you do that, it's amazing. A few things can make a huge impact over time. So, why not? I probably wouldn't have gotten my own life insurance if it wasn't for you. As soon as I knew I had to get it, but I was delaying.
Well, it's human nature. We all procrastinate, right? And you know what? But once you got it, didn't you feel better?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I feel better every day. I'm like,
Yeah.
thank God I did. I wish I did it sooner, but I'm just glad that I did it.
Right.
So thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
I love to surround myself with people that know more than me, that are more intelligent, that are the best in their industry.
So
and
why are you interviewing me?
This was, I loved it. I got so much more out of it, and I just want to thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacie. Thank you for your time. And kudos to you. You've got a great business. You're a phenomenal real estate broker. You've got an incredible team. Again, kudos to you. You've done what not a lot of people have done in your industry. And you really take care of your clients. And it's been really fun getting to know you. So
I feel the same way.
thank you.